I came home from the shop smelling like motor oil and cedar cleaner, set my keys in the bowl by the door, and stepped into the living room where Julia was wrapped in a blanket with the TV on mute. I leaned down to hug her. She angled her shoulder like I was a draft, not a husband. "Hey," I tried. "I'm exhausted," she murmured, pushing the blanket up to her chin. "Long day. I'm going to bed." "That's it. Mark, not tonight. Please." She slipped down the hall, lights clicking off behind her. The couch blinked back at me, accusatory. I stood there listening to the bathroom fan, then the bedroom door latch. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have changed the locks that minute and spared us both the show. In the morning, I made coffee, eggs, her yogurt the way she liked it, stirred smooth, no chunks. She didn't touch any of it. She did, however, take the car keys off the hook without asking. "Car's due for service," I said. "I'll handle it," she tossed over her shoulder. "It's my Saturday run, Jules. Can we not?" She didn't wait for an answer. At the shop, Walt, my foreman, watched me miss a bolt with the impact driver and tapped the bench. "You're floating, man." "Yeah," I said, tightening the bolt I'd already tightened. Home. Home." He nodded like I'd told him the weather. That night, I tried again. "What's going on?" "Nothing," she said, eyes on her phone. Nothing's a big word for this much silence. She locked the phone and slid it away. "I'm tired. I need some space." Define space. "It's not a legal document, Mark. Just give me a week to reset. No pressure. No questions." "A week with no conversation?" "Exactly. I'm not a lamp you unplug for power savings." She rubbed her forehead. "Why does everything with you become a debate?" "Because words matter. And I live here too. I just need time." She stepped around me to the bedroom, a careful detour, like I might spill. I took the hint and took the couch. Before I slept, I wrote her a note. "I'll handle the chores. You handle your reset. I'm here, but I'm not a doormat." That was me drawing a line without slamming the door. The next days I ran the house like a quiet hotel. Laundry, groceries, her favorite tea set out by the kettle. When she headed to a yoga class, I didn't ask which one. When she stayed late at strategy nights her team had invented, I checked the garage for our toolbox and moved anything fragile out of the path. You learn the rhythm of someone going distant, the change in perfume, the new music in the car, the way the smile gets stored away for other people. On Wednesday, she dropped the first jab over dinner. Nate's wife posted their vacation photos. "Cabo. Looks like they know how to plan something." "Good for them," I said, cutting chicken. "I plan break jobs. It's a different art." She smiled at her water glass. "You could try multitasking." "I could," I replied. "Or we could talk about what we actually want this year. Right now I want to eat without a project plan." I put my fork down. "Here's my update. Then, I'm moving my hours earlier. Shop opens at 6 for me now. Fridays I'm at the gym until 8. Saturdays I'm at Nate's garage. If you want time, book it." She blinked. "Book it? Like adults. My calendar's not a suggestion box." "That's ridiculous." "That's a boundary. You asked for space. I'm giving it structure." She stared, lips tight. "Fine. Put me on the schedule, Mr. Efficiency." "Already did," I said, sliding a small card across the table. "Saturday, dinner, 7 p.m., our deck. I'll cook." She smirked. "Is this supposed to impress me?" "It's supposed to be clear." I stacked the plates and washed them without theater. When I finished, she had already vanished down the hall. At the shop the next day, Walt watched me torque a caliper. "So the spreadsheet strategy," he said. "You sure pinning your own time to a corkboard is smart." "It beats guessing," I answered. "You sound like a man managing risk." "I am," I said. "Mine." Friday brought a flicker of thaw. She texted at noon. "Thanks for handling the trash." I almost wrote back a joke. Instead, I left it on scene. Call it discipline. She came home early and set a lemon pie on the counter. "For Saturday," she said, avoiding my eyes. "I know you like it." "Appreciate it." That was the first softening. Not an apology, never that, but an offering, like tossing bread to a guard dog to step past. I didn't bark. I also didn't roll over. Saturday, I cooked ribeyes and asparagus, lit the string lights on the deck, turned on the little speaker with a blues playlist. She came out in that blue dress she hadn't worn in months and took a seat, legs crossed, face unreadable. "Smells good," she said. "It is," I told her, cutting each steak in half and swapping plates. I took the rare part. You get the middle. You remember. I don't forget. We ate in a quiet that wasn't hostile for once. Then she looked up. I've been stuck. Work's changed. I've changed. I don't know what to do with it. You could try telling the man who shares your mortgage, I answered. I'm telling him now. She reached for my hand. Can we maybe stop keeping score? Just eat? Just be. We can eat, I said. We can also be honest. She held my gaze, then dropped it. I'm sorry for the last few weeks. Not perfect, but on my board, that counted as a point. We did the dishes together. We sat on the couch with a throw between us like a treaty. For the first time in a while, she leaned into my shoulder. We went to bed at the same time. If you're looking for romance in a marriage, that's often what it looks like. Synchronized toothbrushes and the same footstep rhythm to the bedroom. Sometime deep into the night, the phone on my nightstand jumped and rattled a second before the buzz woke me. 3 a.m. unknown number. I hesitated. She was breathing slow beside me. I answered. A woman's voice, steady, not whispering. Your wife is at the Foxfield Motel with my husband. I'm driving there now. I stared into the dark. You've got the wrong house. She's right here. Turn on the light. I'm not playing. Turn on the light, Mark. I'm guessing she's not next to you. I clicked the lamp out of something like anger, and the sheet beside me was smooth. Her pillow was cold. My mouth worked on a response. What is this? Some kind of prank. Lisa, is that you? I'm Claire. I'm sending you the address and a photo. A ping, then another. On my screen, the ugly mustard door of a motel room, the number 12, and Julia in profile stepping inside with a man I recognized from her strategy nights. Evan. His shoulder was turned, but I knew the jacket. I stared at the timestamp, 2:41 a.m. Then the text, I'll be there in 10. I'll wait 15. If you care, show up. Maybe it was the leftover hope from the deck lights. Maybe I wanted it to be a sick joke by a jealous coworker. Either way, I put my jeans on, grabbed my truck keys, and drove. Claire was in the lot when I pulled in, leaning on the hood of a silver sedan, hair in a no-nonsense bun, jaw set like a math problem she meant to solve. She gave me a quick nod. You sure you want to see it? She asked. No, I answered. But we're here. She looked at the second-floor balcony. 12. You ready? Ready's not the word, I said. We climbed the stairs, our shoes loud against the metal. Claire knocked once. No answer. She knocked again, harder. The chain slid. The door opened 6 inches. Julia's face. First relief. Whoever she expected, it wasn't me. Then a freeze. Evan's voice in the background. Who is it? Claire pushed the door with a shoulder, and the chain held with a little bounce. It's your husband, she told Julia without raising her voice. And your wife's husband. Julia tried, then stopped. Open the door, I said. Calm, not soft. Julia shut it. The chain scraped. Then the door opened all the way. She had a blanket around her like a shield. Evan stood behind her in a t-shirt 2 sizes too small for the situation. Mark, she started, palms out. I can explain. I'm listening, I said. Evan moved his mouth like he wanted to lead. Claire cut him off. Not one word from you. Julia tried again. It's not what it looks like. It looks like both of you chose a cheap room in a late hour, I replied. Convince me I'm wrong. Can we talk privately? She looked at Claire like she was litter on the carpet. No, I said. What happens in public gets addressed in public. She swallowed. I've been a lost. I needed to clear my head. Evan's been a friend. We talked. That's all. Talk usually happens with coffee and clothes, I answered. We didn't. She stopped herself like there was a ditch ahead. Mark, you have to believe me. Claire let out a laugh with no humor in it. He doesn't have to believe anything. I watched you both go in. Evan tried to perform calm. Everyone needs to calm down. We're all adults. I looked at him. Adult is paying for your own choices. That bill's here. Julia stepped forward, grabbing at my sleeve. Please, Mark. You're making a scene. I didn't book the stage, I said, pulling my arm back. Claire pointed at Evan. You're going to call your boss at 8 and explain that the offsites you invented were actually off something else. And you're going to tell your mother, because she's owed a better story than the fantasy you give her on Sundays. Claire, Evan warned, not here. Exactly here. Neighbors had gathered. A middle-aged couple in gym shorts, a guy in a trucker hat sipping from a styrofoam cup, the night manager hugging a stack of towels as armor. The manager cleared his throat. Folks, we don't want trouble. Then you'll appreciate our efficiency, I told him. Julia wrapped the blanket tighter. Can we go somewhere and talk? We are somewhere, I said. Talk. Please, she whispered, eyes shining with something that looked a lot like theater. I messed up. I was stupid. I was scared. I want to fix this. Claire turned to me. My car's downstairs. I can drive us to a lawyer. Now. I didn't answer her. I looked at Julia. My boundary was clear. You asked for space. I gave it. You wanted quiet. I made it organized. Tonight we had a shot to rebuild. Instead, I'm on a balcony at 3 in the morning with a woman who thinks I can explain is evidence. It was one mistake, Julia said. I lifted a finger. Stop calling it a singular. It's a plan. I just didn't see the blueprint. Evan snorted. You're being dramatic. Son, I told him. You have no idea what dramatic looks like with me. This is controlled. The night manager edged closer. Sir. We're leaving, I said to him. Then to Julia. Here's what happens. You come home now. You pick up the spare key from the plant pot because your set stays with me. You sleep in the guest room. In the morning, you pack anything you need for a week. The rest I'll inventory. We will speak with a third party in the room. Until then, do not contact me except through email. Clear? She stared at me, a calculation forming. Mark, no. We can fix this tonight. That's your problem, I said softly. You think everything's negotiable. Claire nodded once like a gavel. I'm going to my lawyer's office at 9. You're welcome to join. Evan rolled his eyes. You're not serious. You'll find out, she answered. The man in the trucker hat coughed. Y'all want popcorn? Because this is. Go to bed, I told him, and he did. Julia tried the last card. The one where she was suddenly small and cracked and tragic. Mark, please. I'm a mess. I need you. You needed me yesterday, I said. And last week. Tonight you needed something else. For a second her face went blank, like she looked in a mirror and didn't recognize what she saw. Then the tears came, big and careful. She reached for me again. I stepped back. I'll see you at the house, I said. Guest room. 10 minutes. Claire and I walked down the stairs without waiting for their answer. On the way to the lot, she asked, You good to drive? I'm fine, I replied. You? She gave a half laugh that wasn't joy. I don't know what I am, but I know where I'm going. Your lawyer? Yeah. It's late, I said, but I know a better one. She shot me a look. Of course you do. I do, I said, and this office opens early. Fine. Lead the way. We stopped by my house first. Julia's car was already in the driveway. A lamp burned in the guest room. I didn't go inside. I pulled a small duffel from the garage, gym clothes, chargers, toothbrush, and tossed it in my truck. I wrote a note and slid it under the guest room door, boundaries above. Email only. See you at noon with a mediator. Then I left. Claire followed me downtown. The city felt empty enough to keep a secret, but not ours. We parked outside a brick building with a frosted glass door. I punched in a code. My lawyer, Carla, takes calls at odd hours because life happens at odd hours. She picked up on the second ring. You never call this early, she said. You okay? I'm lucid, I told her. Can you meet us? 30 minutes. For you? Yes. We waited in the lobby. Claire finally exhaled. I'm going to scream in my car and then come back in. Do it, I said. The chairs in here aren't built for screaming. She disappeared and returned with red eyes, then sat and folded her hands like a student. Carla arrived in flats and a cardigan, hair up, no makeup. The look of competence is sleep-proof. She listened. She asked names. She wrote them down in tidy letters. Then she spoke like a surgeon announcing a plan. We'll gather facts. We'll define property. We'll define communication. We'll define time. Clarity makes chaos small. Claire nodded, grateful. I nodded too, because clarity had been my religion for weeks, and I was finally praying in the right place. By 8, the sky had paled to that gray nobody writes songs about. I texted Julia the rules again. No response, which counted as acknowledgement. I planned the rest of the day like a job. That was the second initiative, moving the discussion to neutral ground. Third party, schedule hard stops, inventory the house, shift all bills to my email. No threats, just systems. At 9:30, Claire's phone lit up with a stream of messages from Evan that would have embarrassed a teenager. We ignored them. At 10, Julia emailed a single line. We should talk here. I replied with the appointment time. She tried again. You're overreacting. I wrote back. Show up. At noon, Julia walked into Carla's office with wet hair and an expression that blended wounded and insulted. She sat, folded her hands, and tried a new voice. "Mark," she said gently, "last night was a mistake. A big one. I was overwhelmed. I am asking for a chance to make amends. No lawyers. Just us." Carla didn't flinch. "You're in my office because he asked for structure. You can speak, but the rules apply." Julia flashed her a glance. "And you'll be neutral?" "I'll be clear," Carla replied. Julia turned to me. "I want us. I will do whatever it takes." "Then you can start by respecting the process," I said. "And the truth." She held my gaze a long second, then dropped it. "Fine." We outlined accounts. We mapped a cooling-off period. We drafted an agreement for separate rooms, a communication schedule, a counseling list. She nodded at all of it like a student who intended to rewrite the test later. Claire left with copies and a look that said she planned to follow every line. I stayed, signed, arranged a consultation for the next morning. Julia walked out without touching me. I drove home, locked the bedroom door, and slept hard. And then I woke up to sunlight, my phone quiet, the clock blinking 7:12 a.m., and the smell of pancakes, Julia's lemon pancakes, drifting down the hall like childhood Saturdays. For a second I didn't move. The exhaustion was gone, replaced by a clean, stupid peace. I walked to the kitchen. She was at the stove in pajamas, hair up, humming. She flipped a pancake. "Morning, sleepyhead," she said. "How'd you sleep?" "Like a rock," I answered, because suddenly the motel lot, the balcony, the notes, the lawyer's lobby, they all fell through a trapdoor in my head. I stood there, one hand on the doorframe, trying to reconcile the two tracks of film. "You okay?" she asked, turning. "Had a nightmare," I said. "Bad one." She set a plate on the counter. "Well, I'm here. You're here. We're good." I stepped forward and hugged her. She hugged back, easy, warm, familiar. I kissed her, slow, and she smiled. "Coffee?" she asked. "Please." We ate. We laughed about nothing. She talked about wanting to repaint the deck and maybe take a weekend trip up to the lake when my schedule allowed. Normal, soft, comforting, and yet, you know that feeling when a coin lands on its edge and stays there, balancing, refusing to pick a side? That's where I was. The dream wasn't proof, but it was a map. It showed where the weak beams were. And when you're a man who builds things, you don't ignore a creak because the house didn't fall this minute. I rinsed my plate and dried my hands. "Julia," I said, "I'm glad we had last night. The stakes, the deck, it was good, but listen to me straight." She paused over the sink. "Okay, the last few weeks were distance with a smile. You wanted space. You did it without telling me why. That won't happen again. Not to me." She frowned. "We said we'd reset. We will. Under rules. I'm updating our life the way I update a service schedule. No late-night vanishing acts. If you need time alone, you put it on the table. If there's someone at work taking up brain space, I want the headline. Not the details, just the truth. You break those, we break." She turned off the faucet. "That seems a little harsh. It's adult." She crossed her arms. "What if I say I need you to be more romantic? More present?" "I'll schedule it. I proved last night I know how. But romance isn't currency to buy respect. It's extra." She watched me like she thought I was bluffing. "And if I disagree?" "Then we're done," I said, and the words sat there, clean and square. She tried the soft apology. "I'm sorry for being distant. Work has been heavy. I've been heavy. I didn't mean to shut you out." "I accept the apology," I replied. "I'm still adopting the rules." She set the sponge down. "You're really serious?" "I am," I said, picking up my keys. "I'm going to the shop early. I'll be back at 6. If you want, we'll grill. If not, that's fine too. Either way, clear." She mirrored last night's little smile. "Fine. Clear." That was the second softening. She'd clocked that she was losing leverage and switched to syrup. At the shop, I told Walt I was moving permanently to 6 to 3. "Housework," I said. "Whatever keeps your wheels on," he replied. Around noon, Nate stopped by with coffee. "You look steady," he said. "I drew a map," I told him. "You always do." Back home, Julia greeted me at the door with a hug that would have fixed a weaker man. "I made pasta," she said, "and I figured we could watch that documentary you like." "Sounds good," I said, "after we update the budget." She blinked. "Budget?" I'm closing 2 shared cards, I told her. We'll keep one for the house. The rest are separate. It's cleaner. That's extreme. It's clear, I said. And clarity is kindness. She swallowed whatever she was going to say and nodded. We ate. We watched the film. She tucked her feet under me on the couch. She laughed at the right parts. She touched my arm when the screen went dark. It was lovely. It was also, in my book, a test. A week went by. The warmth lingered. She kept to the calendar. She sent me daytime texts, little check-ins about grocery lists, and an article she'd read about organizing garages. She suggested a Saturday morning hike. We went. She took a photo of us at the overlook, sun in her hair. She looked like the woman I married, and for stretches at a time, I let myself believe that's exactly who she was. But here's the thing about coin flips. Eventually they land. Saturday night, I was cleaning up after dinner when her phone rang on the counter. Unknown number. The screen lit the room. She froze. Not fear, calculation. You going to get that? I asked, drying a pan. She hesitated one beat too long. Spam. It's ringing a second time, I said. Spam's persistent these days. She silenced it and slid the phone face down. Can we not do this? Do what? Make everything a test. I didn't dial the number, I said. She took a breath like she was going to start an argument we'd had before, and I set the pan down and gave her the line I'd been carrying since the deck and the dream. Julia, I love who we are at our best, but I love my self-respect more. I'm not living in a house where a stranger gets midnight access and I'm tired. So listen carefully. If you want this marriage, you align to the rules we set. If you don't, you say so. No fog. No soft focus. She stared at me, that mirror look again. Then she picked up the phone, opened the text thread, and spun it around. An unknown number, 2 missed calls. A follow-up text, you owe me. A string of photos of a work event. A last line, call me after. Work, she said. Delete it, I told her. And block it. Then email your team and clarify boundaries about off-hours contact. If that's too much, we're done. Her jaw worked. You're really going to end a marriage over a phone call? I'm going to end a marriage over a pattern, I corrected. Calls are just symptoms. She stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Then she deleted the thread, blocked the number, typed an email that copied half her team. She hit send and put the phone down like it weighed something. Then she looked at me, face stripped of performance. I don't like this version of you, she said. I wasn't auditioning, I answered. This is the version you get. She went quiet. The quiet held. The coin fell. On Monday, she didn't come home after work. The calendar was blank. She didn't text. She also didn't call. She walked in at midnight like a cat. I was at the table going through our budget with the envelopes laid out by category. You're still up? She said. Yep, I replied. Bedroom's locked. Guest room's made. We'll talk at noon with Carla on speaker. If you're late, the conversation happens without you. She laughed once, sharp. You really think you can project manage your way out of a marriage? I think I can project manage my life, I said. And you can choose whether you're in the project. She tossed her bag on the couch, then paused. You know what? No, I'm not doing this. I'm not living by your spreadsheets. I'll stay with Emily for a while. That's your choice, I said and stood. She expected a plea. She expected a fight. Instead, she got me walking past her to the door, opening it, and gesturing. She hesitated, then grabbed her bag. At the threshold, she turned. You'll regret this, she said. I smiled without humor. Doubt it. She left. The house changed temperature. Not colder, not warmer, right? I locked the door, texted Carla, and slept like a man who had finally picked a side. 2 months later, the epilogue wrote itself. I sold the house and bought a smaller place with a 3-bay garage on the edge of town. I traded the old truck for a black SUV that towed my fishing boat without complaining. Walt offered me a partnership at the shop. I took it and redid the front office. No posters, just clean lines and good chairs. Saturdays, I run a community workshop for high school kids who want to learn engines without getting swindled. I started seeing Claire after a while, not because of that night, but because 2 people who've seen the same storm sometimes know how to share an umbrella without making a fuss. She laughs at my budget envelope system and steals my lemon pie recipe. We take weekend trips that come from conversation, not obligation. As for Julia, I hear things the way you hear weather from a friend 2 towns over. Her strategy nights turned into a transfer. The car she loved is now more payment than pride. She texted me a month after she left. We made a mess. I didn't answer. She sent me a photo once of a sunrise from a rental balcony that could have been any city. I didn't answer that either. People ask me if I'm angry. I'm not. Anger is a rope you hold while yelling at a boat that already left the dock. I picked up my rope and built something with it. My last conversation with Julia happened at the hardware store. I was in aisle 5, picking out deck screws, when I looked up and there she was, hair shorter, eyes the same. She smiled like we were old classmates. "Hey, Mark," she said. "Hey, you look good," she offered. "I am good," I replied. She waited for a crack in my voice. There wasn't one. "You never called," she said. "I never said I would," I answered. She nodded at the screws. "Always building something." "Always," I said. Then I picked up the box and stepped past her. "Take care, Julia." "That's it?" she asked at my shoulder. "That's the whole thing," I said, and left the aisle without turning. Some stories end with fireworks. Mine ended with a boundary and a receipt. And if you're wondering what happened to the nightmare, here's the truth. It wasn't a prophecy. It was a mirror. It showed me the face I make when I talk myself into pretending. I'm done pretending. And when Claire and I grill on the back porch now, she'll ask me what I'm thinking, and I'll say, how lucky it is that some stumbles don't break your legs. They teach you how to walk better. Then we'll eat standing up because the plates are hot and the air is right. And a life that is quiet and honest turns out to be exactly loud enough.